Hey everyone, this is Michelle from Granite State Stamper, and this is the card we're going to make today. Or actually, we're going to make a variation of this. I'm going to change it up a little teeny bit. So let's get going. The base of the card is going to be the Baja Breeze, and that is an 11 by 4 1/4, and then scored at 5 1/2. And for this, the background, I have a piece of chocolate chip that's 5 1/2 by 4, and a piece of the Greenhouse Gala Designer Series paper, which is at 5 1/2 by 3 1/4. And the first thing we need to do is to punch, using the scallop border punch, the bottom edge of this. And I find the easiest way to do that, for me, to make sure I get an even punch, is to mark the center. This is 5 1/2, so it's 2 3/4, and you just draw a line up, flip it over, and I'm not sure if you can see, but line the mark up with the center of the punch, and then punch. And then I flip it over and line it up from the front at this point, but you could also just keep looking at the back whichever is easiest for you. Okay. Throw my scraps away. And then we'll adhere the paper. I love this paper. I've been making a lot of projects with it. I just love the colors. Okay, now I can attach it to the front of the card. And that little mark will be on the back, so you'll never see it. And when I do this, I make sure I line up perfectly the edge that's on the seam, because this edge I can just trim off if it's a little bit long, which it is, and I can do that after. Okay, and that's all set, and now we'll get to the image. The image piece, I have a layer of chocolate chip, which is 3 7/8 by 2 7/8. A piece of pear pizzazz, which is 3 5/8 by 2 5/8, and then we will be stamping on a piece of shimmery white. I'm not so sure if you can see the shimmery part of it, but I love this paper. This is one of my favorites, which is at 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. And to stamp the image, I'm actually going to be using my markers. I'm going to be using the pear pizzazz, the Baja Breeze, and the Daffodil Delight. And I'm also going to be using my blender pen. I'm just going to rub it around the center of the flower a little bit to actually remove a little bit of the Baja Breeze ink, so I can add some of the Daffodil Delight without it turning green. Okay, before I stamp that down, I'm going to find a tape runner, okay, and put a little teeny bit on the back, and put that down, and you'll see why in a second. I'm actually going to stamp this twice, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Majig to make sure that I get it on. So I stamp it down, then I will place my Stampin' Majig where it is. Okay, see the image is fairly faint, so I want to ink it back up and re-stamp it again, and by having the Stampin' Majig there, I already have it positioned so I don't have to use the clear sheet with it. And the yellow's not quite as bright as I would like it, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. Okay, now I'll just assemble these layers. Actually, before I do that, let me just do the word. Let me do the sentiment. Okay, I'm going to, on this is the Thoughts and Prayers stamp set. I'm going to be using this saying, "It's thinking of you, please know that I care." But I only want the thinking of you part. So I'm going to use my marker. You can either use a marker to color it in, or you could take a piece of scratch paper and cover up the bottom words while you're inking it up. Or ink it up and then use a piece of scratch paper to block those as you stamp. I'm just going to do it this way for right now. Make sure it's nice and moist. Nice. Okay, and now I'll attach all the layers together. Okay, that's all set. And now, to get the ribbon on, you take your crocodile, and on the smallest setting, or any hole punch that's, you only need a smaller hole. Just punch a hole right over the stem. And just thread both ends up through the front for right now. Okay. And then pull it back. I'm going to apply some dimensionals there. Oh, I just had them on the back. And I'll wrap the ribbon around the entire front of the cardstock. Making sure that's nice and flat on the inside, and it is. And then remove the backings of the dimensionals. Pull this out of the way. Okay, and keeping this, pulling it a little bit, then you'll just place this on the front where you would like it. I'm just going to hold it up so I can see, make sure it's nice and centered where I want it. Okay, and then just pull these ribbons so they're lined up where you want them and snug. And then just tie a simple knot. Now hold in place. Trim off the ends. Okay, and there's the front. I created a layer for the inside also. The base this is chocolate chip, and it was 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then I punched the scallop edge on that. Then pear pizzazz, which is 5 by 3 1/2, and then the shimmery white, which is 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. And I inked up the stamp set the same way I did the front, and I just stamped it once, so it's a little bit subtle. And that's that. And this is the finished card. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, and have a nice day.